You don't know that your dog is friendly to my dog. You will never know that. You don't know. Your dog may be friendly to the dogs it's met in the past. Maybe you've got all of this, like, examples in your head of how many times your dog has been friendly, but you don't know what your dog is going to be to my dog because you don't know what my dog is doing or feeling. It's impossible for you to say my dog is friendly to everybody. It may not be. So you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. That might have been a little soapbox moment for me, not gonna lie. But today's topic, we're talking about the top mistakes that make life harder when living with a fearful dog. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. Hello, my dog-loving friend. It's Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. I'm super glad that you are here. Full disclosure, I'm a little exhausted, if I'm being honest. Oh my gosh, what a week last week. What a week last week. Besides the fact that we had an incredible time at our Calm Down Dog Boot Camp. If you missed it, it was a trip. We're definitely doing it again. But I can honestly say what a challenging week outside of that. We had two major snowstorms that happened, which meant a lot of storm prep as well as animal prep. If you know, you know, right? Living on a farm. And then on top of it, we had a horse emergency. Where one of my horses, my old mare, that's mean. Why did I call her old? I mean, she is old. I should have. My mature mare. That seems mean to call her old. Like, oh, the old mare. Anyway, she laid down, got stuck, couldn't get up, and we could not get her up. Long story short, we finally got a hold of somebody with a tractor. My neighbor finally came over, and we had to pick her up with straps and a tractor, and then we had to rub her legs, and then we had to warm her up. And we must have spent 4 hours in the barn trying to get her warm again. It was a thing. Anyway, and besides, and the worry, more than anything, it's just the worry. It's not the fact that we were standing out in the cold for 4 hours or, it's just the worry. She's my old mare, Anyway, so all of that happened while we were trying to do the boot camp. So life gets lifey. Life gets lifey, and we know all about it. So today we're talking about the top mistakes that make life harder when living with a fearful dog. And this is a great topic to discuss. Now, anytime I phrase these topics like the top mistakes, I always want to preface by saying, if you're feeling bad about it, you need to get over that. That's the first thing you're going to do. Okay. I'm just letting you know the mistakes that I see that happen all the time, how you can avoid it. But know that if you're like, oh, shoot, that was me, all is not lost. All is not lost. Okay. I don't know. I try to find ways to be like the top things you can do to, but I think it's worthwhile to just talk about the top mistakes that I see that make life harder when you're living with a dog, a fearful dog. Well, probably any dog, but a fearful dog. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number one when trying to, when living with a fearful dog is, in fact, trying to train the fear away. That's probably the number one thing. You can't train fear out of a dog. Fear isn't something that's trainable. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. We can't train them like to just feel better. Can you imagine if there was a command? Sit, feel better. Good dog. That would be amazing if that were the case, but it's not. You can't do that. A well-timed sit isn't going to make your dog feel better or give them confidence. That's the other sort of misconception, that training is going to build your dog's confidence. It's going to build your dog's, repertoire of obedience. It's going to help define your relationship with your dog, but it's not necessarily going to give them confidence to get over scary things, right? Fear isn't a behavior to correct. That's the bottom line, right? We're not trying to correct this. It's an emotional state that we need to come at from an understanding, right? So if your dog doesn't trust you, no amount of training is going to help. Okay. First order of business is we need to start building trust in you. That's the very first thing you need to do, right? We got to start working on you. Does your dog trust you? Are you predictable? Are you calm? Are you fair? Are you consistent? If you are, then you're building trust. If you're not, then you're breaking trust. Okay. So I want you to kind of shift your focus when we're talking about living with a dog to get out of your head this idea that we're going to train them to not be fearful, because that's impossible. But instead focus on us. How can I show up? How can I be the person that you need to be, or that you need me to be, in order for you to be successful, in order for you to trust me? Okay. Mistake number 2, saying it's okay. You're okay. It's okay. You're okay. It's all right. When it's not. Okay. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see. People saying, it's okay. It's okay. See that dog over there? It's okay. That dog's not, it's okay. Listen, if you don't know whether or not it is actually okay, don't say it's okay. Don't say that. You see a crazy banana beans dog coming at you and your dog starts to get a little uncomfortable and you say, it's okay. You don't know that. You don't know that at all. So let's not say it's okay, right? Let's say, I got this. I got this. I see this. I see that threat. I see that you're uncomfortable. I'm going to put myself in the conversation. Dogs aren't going to find your human words reassuring anyway, right? They're really not. And honestly, a lot of times when we're saying those words, our body language is saying something different. And so we're sending a mixed signal, which then drops our leadership and then erodes trust. So don't say it when you know it's not, it may not be, it may be true. Maybe it's true. Maybe that dog isn't going to do anything. You don't know, but you don't know. Right? And you're not picking up what your dog is picking up. You're not picking up maybe the smack talk that the other dog is saying. You're not picking up. And I say this out of love. I say this out of love because most people, not most people, where did I come up with that statistic? A lot of people that I've seen think their dog is friendly. I mean, maybe this has happened to you. Maybe you've had somebody in the past come up to you and be like, oh, no, my dog's friendly. And all of a sudden there's a scuffle and your dogs are fighting and you're like, I thought you said your dog was friendly. People don't know. Because here's the thing. And this is what I want, now I'm off track, but it's okay. Here's the thing. You don't know that your dog is friendly to my dog. You will never know that. You don't know. Your dog may be friendly to the dogs it's met in the past. Maybe you've got all of this, examples in your head of how many times your dog has been friendly, but you don't know what your dog is going to be to my dog because you don't know what my dog is doing or feeling. It's impossible for you to say my dog is friendly to everybody. It may not be. So you don't know. There, I'll get off my soapbox. I just thought about that. I'm like, how do you know how your dog feels about my dog? Your dog's never met my dog. Anyway, my whole point is maybe that has been the case and somebody's come up to you and said, my dog's friendly. And so you've said to your dog, okay, it's okay. Apparently this dog is friendly. And then the next thing you know, your dog has a fight. And you're like, your dog's going, well, that dog wasn't friendly. What are you talking about? You're going to lose trust. You're going to lose points. You're going to erode some of that trust. So don't say it. Don't say it if you don't know, because you don't know. All right. Excuse me. Mistake number 3, avoiding everything that scares them. Okay. I get asked this a lot because there's a lot of stuff about avoidance and avoiding triggers and all that stuff. And maybe if your dog is in the middle of something and is out of control, you might start off avoiding, but please know that we don't want to avoid everything that scares them for the rest of their life, right? That's not life. That's not reality. Eventually, something's going to happen and your dog is going to be put in a situation where that trigger is going to be there and they're not going to have the skills. We want to work towards building up the skill set. We want to get them through the, oh my God, I'm going to die. I didn't die moment. We want to life layer those little things, right, on top of each other. So avoiding them is never going to get them that to the other side of it. And also, let's talk about this. Here's what does build confidence in a dog is when you support them through the fear cycle, through the, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then the, I didn't die moment. When it's their win, when they get to the other side of that and you can go, buddy, you did it. Like, look what you did. It's their win. They get to go, they get to mark that in their behavior calendar in their head. That's like, I made it through that. I did that. That builds confidence. That life layers. They get that win. And that's important. All right. Mistake number 4 that I see when living with a fearful dog is relying on treats to fix the fear. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confrontational. Gosh, Tracy, I told you I'm tired. Please bear with me. Controversial is the word I was looking for there. Here's where it gets a little controversial. So I want to kind of clarify what I'm saying here a little bit. You notice I said relying on treats to fix the fear. Okay. There is a lot of stuff out there where we utilize food to change the dog's emotional response in the presence of a trigger. That's a lot of trainer mumbo jumbo there, but which I am not saying that doesn't work. However, when we rely on it alone without doing the people work, right? Without doing all the stuff that I talk about building your leadership and being predictable and building trust with your dog, when we rely on it, that can actually backfire on us. First of all, some of the dogs are too scared to even take the treats. If you think about it from the perspective of like, you know, I'll use my own phobia. I don't like spiders. I really don't like spiders. I can hold a snarling, growling dog and be okay with that. But a spider, scream like a girl and I'll run out of the room. That's me. But you know, if you were to try to do like a let's get over your fear, Tracy, and then you put a big ass spider on my hand and then be like, here's also a cupcake. Do you want a cupcake? I'm going to be like, no, you can take your cupcake and stick it. And also your spider. Like I'm not going to feel better about the spider because of, because there's a cupcake there. You know, like anything else, it would be something that I would have to get used to. I would have to have exposure to spiders and nothing bad happen, and then exposure to spiders and nothing bad happen. So it's not something you want to rely on. And what happens when you don't have the food, right? So use it as the gravy, use it as something else, use it for, you know, if it were me, and I get there's lots of ways to do it, but if it were me, I might, you know, use it to make the dog feel better. But you know what? If I'm talking out loud, I'm more prone to actually get my dog to engage in the environment with me, like to like jump up on things and can I get their body moving and that sort of thing. And can we do this? And really focusing in on me as like the source of all good, as opposed to tossing food on the ground. Because that's not really about me. That's just you. I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. That's what I would do. I probably wouldn't use food if I'm being honest. But there are definitely, you know, people that will swear by that. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying for me personally, I don't like to rely on food. I always want to be working towards making sure the dog understands that I'm that source of, I mean, I don't want to say security blanket, but almost like a security blanket for my dog. Like they have a fearful exposure. They turn to me. If I'm okay, they're going to feel better. Doesn't matter if I have treats in my pocket. It's about me. It's about me. And then once we got past the fearful thing, I might then, be like, let's go do some food reward stuff where you and I go hunt for some food together, stuff like that. Like, that's how I would play it. Anyway, don't rely on it is my point, because treats backfire on you. Treats can backfire, especially if you don't have them. Like, what happens when you don't have them, right? Mistake number 5 would be moving too fast too soon, right? Doing too much too soon. This bleeds into the life layering stuff where, not the life layering stuff, the stress layering stuff, similarly, I guess, to life layering, but stress layers on top of each other. So doing a whole bunch of things and sort of getting your dog exhausted. It's kind of like, if you look at it this way, I don't know, I'm sure you feel this, but has anyone ever like talked to you about like your willpower bank? Right? Have you ever heard that? This is something that came up for me about, my food stuff. Like, I've always had an issue with my weight, and I've always struggled with my weight and all of that stuff. So eating's always been a thing. And so it was explained to me that, when you wake up in the morning, you have a lot of willpower. Like, it's really easy for you to start off the day and be like, I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast and I'm not going to like grab that donut and whatnot. But as you use that willpower, right? As you use that willpower, you get less and less of that. And so by the end of the day, when your willpower tank is low and you're like, you didn't eat and you're hangry and you're on your way home and somebody cuts you off and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm stopping at McDonald's and I'm grabbing a burger because I deserve it because I had a bite. Like, you can excuse it away, but it basically is your willpower bank is depleted. I look at fearful dog stuff like the same thing, right? When I'm asking them to do a lot of things and I'm putting a lot of pressure on them, like, it takes a lot of energy for them to go through that fear cycle, that, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh, I didn't die moment. That takes a lot, and it drains them. And so each new stimulus in the day is going to hit different based on how much is left in their tank. So we don't want to do too much and put too much pressure on them to either get over it or to go through it, or, if they've had a stressful day. We want to make sure that we're not moving too fast and we're not expecting too much. Now, that's a cautionary tale. I will say that there is a balance there, because sometimes our dogs, we can push them a little bit because they're like, I don't want to do it. But I wouldn't push it to be all the things. Like, I wouldn't push it to be like, let's do this and then we'll tackle this and this and this, right? If I have a dog that's struggling in one area, I might, encourage a little bit more to get that, but I'm not going to keep pushing. We want to be really aware of the layered stress that happens, especially with our fearful dogs. So, keep in mind their tank that needs to recharge, and it recharges in the comfort zone, right? When they get back to their comfort zone, they recharge that, and they're, able to handle more things. So there you have it. Those are the 5 mistakes that I see, top mistakes that make life harder when you're living with a dog, a fearful dog. Let's recap those. Mistake number 1 is trying to train fear away. You can't train fear at a dog, so don't do it. That's not what you're trying to do. What are you trying to do? You're trying to build trust in you. It's all about you, my friend. Mistake number 2 is saying it's okay when it's not. You don't know it's okay, so don't say it. Instead, replace those kind of things with, I've got this. I've got you. I see that. I'm going to take care of that. Don't worry about it. I got it. Right? That's the kind of things that you should be saying instead. Mistake number 3 is avoiding everything that scares them. Life is scary. We don't want to bubble boy our kids. We don't want to bubble boy our dogs, right? We want them to be able to experience the world around them. So while you're working on building that trust, you're going to help them through to the other side. Get them to the, oh my God, I'm going to die, all the way through that cycle to the, I didn't die moment, and give them the win. Build their confidence naturally. Give them the win. Look what you did. You were scared of that thing and now you're doing it. Good for you. Like, I I love seeing a dog win. I love seeing a fearful dog win. You can see it in them. They're so proud of themselves. I love that. Mistake number 4 is relying on treats to fix fear. Treats aren't going to fix fear. They're just not going to fix fear. And as I've mentioned, there are techniques and whatnot to utilize food to help change the dog's emotional state about the trigger. But I still believe the best thing that you can do for your dog is work on you being their source of comfort. Your presence, knowing that you're okay means they're okay. Because guess what? You never forget on a walk. You never forget you. You might forget your treat pouch, but you are always there. You are that thing that can be the reason and the reward in your dog's life. You can do this. It should be about you. And then finally, mistake number 5, moving too fast or expecting too much. Overwhelming your dog, that can lead to backslides and setbacks, and we don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that we're supporting, but also allowing those dogs to get some rest and some to recoup, recharge their batteries, fill their bravery banks back up so that they can handle the next thing. So there you have it, my friends. That is top mistakes that I see that make life harder when living with a fearful dog. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, can you do me a solid favor? Could you share this with some of your dog-loving friends? Let them know the podcast exists. It really does help. Word of mouth is everything to us humble podcasters. And if you haven't already, take 5 seconds to give me a 5-star written review on Apple. Really helps push the podcast out. Give me a 5-star review on Spotify. Comment on Spotify. Reach out to me personally to say, hey, Tracy, I heard what you were saying and I'm liking it. Whatever you want to do would be great. I would love that. And if you are someone that is looking for a little bit more personalized help from me, you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me. It's the Calm Confident Coaching Call. It's at a great introductory price right now. You go to beyondobedience.ca/session, book your call with me, find out how you can not only avoid these top mistakes, but also get the strategies to make living with your dog so much easier. Do that again, beyondobedience.ca/session. And as always, get out there today and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you are amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only. It is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.